how much kidnappers are taking from victims.
My thing is, government should always stabilize this. We need together, and I think we get that. The 3% for the oil producing community is too low.
But the support that is needed, and once you get the support, your airline people will blossom.
This is Nigeria. You need to give people sense of belonging.
Good morning. Welcome to Inside Nigeria, reaching you from Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Ubebo, and we'll be dissecting major news, front page news stories on Nigeria's most leading newspaper, Leadership newspaper, sister publication, The National Economy, The Nation, and THISDAY on Inside Nigeria today. I'm not alone, as you can see. I have a public affairs analyst, a TV host, and even a syndicated columnist, all in one package, Mr. Jide Ojo. Mr. Jide Ojo, it's always a pleasure to host you.
Winifred, it's a pleasure to be here. Compliments of the youth.
Same to you. Yeah. Welcome so much. Thank you so much for always being with us to review major news headlines.
I'm waiting for my hamper.
Of course.
And congratulations on the successful hosting.
Thank you so much.
The first anniversary of the demise of the chairman of leadership.
Thank you so much. It was a successful event yesterday, and that was what we'll be flagging up with. Stable leadership newspaper. Today's leadership says, at Sam Isaiah's first memorial, call for assent to electoral bill resonates. At Sam Isaiah's first memorial, that is the chairman, the founder of Leadership Media Group, call for assent to electoral bill resonates. Signing the electoral bill will make votes count, breed credible leadership. That is THISDAY publisher of Ibina. Advocate security tax. Isaiah believed Nigeria could be fixed. He always put his country first, says Lai Mohammed. He did not die in vain, according to the SGF. He'll be forever remembered by Nigerians. Talking of First Lady Aisha Buhari. He was a great, passionate husband, says wife Zainab. Let's have a personal relationship with God as he had. Bishop Jeremiah. A potpourri of stories today on leadership yesterday. And before you comment, yesterday we had it was a meeting point or meeting points of various caliber of people at the chairman Leadership Media Group first year anniversary. So, and this news came out on electoral bill. So, what do you have to say to that?
Again, my condolences on the death of the founder and chairman of a leadership group of newspapers, Mr. Sam Isaiah. So soon, it's been 1 year since his demise. We pray for eternal repose of his soul, and that God will take care of the family he has left behind. And from what the dignitaries at that event said, you could see that even wherever he is, he's smiling and happy that people have not forgotten. And to write your name in the hearts of the people is never to be forgotten. Now is even larger in death than in life. And the call for assent to electoral bill, I really don't know why the president is keeping us waiting. Mute has been the word from the presidency. Today is 26th day that he has received that bill. And many people are saying he will not sign.
Yes.
And I have refuted that. I said he has no choice but to sign. If he does not sign, we will take him as enemy of Nigeria #1, because he came in through electoral reform, leave a legacy of electoral reform. All the efforts at having electronic transmission of results, electronic voting, and several other reforms in the bill should not be allowed to go to waste. This is the 6th year that that we have been advocating for electoral reform. Don't forget, the first three between 2015 and 2018 was futile as he refused to assent to the 2018 bill, giving different excuses. Now he cannot continue along that same path. Excuses are the tools with which the house of failure is built, you know. And many of us have said, even though the National Assembly, the Governors Forum said they should not sign, we have taken a position that whatever reservation he has, he needs to sign and give us a birthday, a Christmas gift, and he can then sponsor amendments to that bill in January if he so wish. But that he will not sign is a no-no. I'm very optimistic. He may put something out of the art later today. Recall today is Wednesday. They always have federal executive meeting, so he may sign today. But if he does not sign and he didn't give a convincing reason why he could not sign, then all efforts, including huge financial resources, will have gone to waste. And that can be ill afforded because these are not only Nigerian money. International donor community invested heavily in building capacity, organizing retreat, public hearing, and all of that for the National Assembly. In fact, the Policy and Legal Advocacy Center, which is a civil society organization, served as the secretariat when the technical committee on the electoral amendment bill sat for many months. So what excuse does the president want to give? The issue of budget, 500 billion budget for observation of the direct primary, INEC has come out to debunk it, that there is nothing. They never put a cost to observing the direct primary. And like I said elsewhere, I'm not averse to us having the dual system prior to now, which is direct and indirect primary, as enunciated in Section 87, subsections 1 to 10 of the Electoral Act. But if in the wisdom of National Assembly, they felt they want to return the party to the members and they insisted it has to be only direct primary, the most important thing for me is the credibility of that exercise. We have a situation where somebody will win a primary, direct primary with over 300,000 votes, only to score 43,000 votes in the general election. We have had similar controversies as happened in the case of Akinwumi Ambo, the former Lagos State Governor, where the chairman and committee members that were sent from Abuja said election has not been held, only for them to say the following day to say they have failed the election. Figures were just cooked up and published. And even the president, even the one that brought the president in, he was said to have won over 14 million votes, 14.8 million votes in the direct primary held ahead of 2019 election. But in the entire country during the election, it's got 15 million, a little over 15 million. So I wish that only APC members voted. So it's the credibility that is more important to me. I've also said that beyond the direct primaries, let's look at the cost of nomination forms. Situations where you ask aspirants to governorship seat to pay 22.5 million. Winifred, as devalued as Nigeria currency is, you can still build a modest bungalow with 22 million. I mean, what are we talking about? Depends on the part of Abuja you want to build. 22 million is not chicken money, and that's the money you collect from aspirants. And this money is not refundable. And we need to. I mean, the president in 2014 paid 27 million for his nomination fee. In 2019, in 2018, ahead of 2019, he paid 45 million. Look at the exponential increase. And they want to separate the men from the boys. But level playing field needed to be created. All aspirants must not only believe that the process that led to their loss is credible, but must be seen to be credible. All this issue around anointed candidate, consensus candidate, imposed candidature are part of the problem of Nigeria's electoral process. So I'm joining my voice to that of millions of Nigerians, urging the president to sign the electoral amendment bill so that at least we can have better elections from now going forward.
Okay. Thank you so much. I was among those that was skeptical at the beginning that the president may not assent to the bill, in the sense that if he didn't do it that first week, there was no
No.
way.
That didn't.
Considering the dispatch, he signed the PIB into law. Remember, he just came to the country and he worked during the weekend to sign it. We were told that.
Let me tell you
But
why.
now, why I'm saying this, that so what would now be the worst scenario if he doesn't sign?
What scenario is the president's veto can be overridden by the National Assembly. But I just don't see them doing that because of the cozy uh, fraternal relationship between the National Assembly and the presidency. But the I know the president is under intense pressure, even from global community, from donor community, to do the right thing because we don't want to get into the coup d'etat of, oh, we cannot amend our law too close to election. Election in 2023 is just 1 year, 1 month. It's just about 13 months.
But
So
is it that the president is still playing to the gallery of some certain cabals because he has nothing to lose, given the fact that he's living after his age?
yeah, but he doesn't want to be the last president of APC. And they will be advancing. See, if you do this, we might lose. Recall that people are not happy with this party. Our security or insecurity scorecard is very, very low. Our governance scorecard is very low. Our anti-corruption scorecard is very low. So if you sign this, it's like you are signing the death warrant of the party. So they may in that context be advising him. But what I think he needs to do is to be a statesman and not be a politician this time around. Like you rightly pointed out, he's not coming back for any third term. And he needs to leave a legacy that everybody will remember him for. I still believe I want to err on the side of caution. I want to give him benefit of that he will stay silent. Maybe by Friday, maybe today, maybe sometimes this week. But he has until December 19th. From what I read, he has until December 19th to sign or not to sign. But at least from the angle of INEC, what we are told is INEC gave a clean bill of health and said that the law is implementable. If that is the true position, and if similar opinion has been expressed by Office of Attorney General and Minister of Justice, because one thing you need to know, Winifred, is that every bill that is passed by the National Assembly sent to the president have to be sent to the Office of Attorney General
Yes.
and Minister of Justice
Yes.
for legal opinion.
Yes.
Then the president will also minuted it to agencies, departments, and ministry that will be affected
Yes.
by the implementation. And that's why that window of 1 month is always there for consultation. So we want to believe that the consultation must have ended by now, and that anytime soon, on or before Friday, we'll hear the good news that he has actually signed. The good news, anyway, also a good news, is part of the pressure civil society has been mounting on him, was to see to it that there's no vacuum in INEC. And yesterday he sent nomination, 6 nominations for national chairman and national commissioners and 1 resident electoral commissioner to the National Assembly to replace those who have served out their tenure. In fact, he reappointed 2. That's National Commissioner Aruna Mohammed, representing Niger State North Central, as well as Mrs. May Agbamuche Mbu, who is representing Delta State for South South. He reappointed the 2 of them and also added some fresh blood. In fact, he elevated Sam Olumekun, who is from Ondo State. He elevated him from the rank of resident electoral commissioner and made him a national commissioner. So what we are saying invariably is that, having heeded the public outcry that there should be no vacuum in INEC, and he has done the needful, giving the INEC the full complement of 12 national commissioner and chairman. I want to believe he wants to truly leave a legacy of very better, credible election in 2023.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jide, for that analysis. Moving away from leadership, we are going to the sister publication, National Economy. National Economy on today's front page says Nigeria's agro-industrial processing zone project gets African Development Bank 86.3 billion naira take-off fund. Nigeria's agro-industrial processing zone project gets African Development Bank 86.3 billion naira take-off fund. And that is also a loan too. There's something to cheer about.
Very charming news. I hope the money will be well used. On this program inside Nigeria, I've had calls to weigh on the need for us to add value to our agricultural products. We cannot continue to send, export our raw materials. I think we are having reasonable foreign exchange. The only way by which we can earn reasonable mouth-watering foreign exchange is by adding value to those raw materials. So this Nigeria's agro-industrial processing zone is a welcome development. It's a child of necessity which should have been in place many decades ago. But thankfully, the African Development Bank is making a seed take-off fund of 86.3 billion naira, which is not a chicken feed. It's a huge, but we don't know whether this is a grant or a loan. But whatever it is, I hope it will be judiciously used so that we don't end up diverting the money and the whole industrial process will become a mirage. But it's a welcome development. We need to add value. I cited the example of ginger, garlic, which are in abundance in the northwestern Nigeria. Kaduna, there you see Chinese coming to buy tons and tons of this ginger and garlic, process it into tea, and exported it back to Nigeria. Same thing, this cassava processing, we can make industrial starch out of it. We can make gari out of it. We can make cassava flour out of it. And this is, through agro-industrial processing that we can do all of this. Even yam, even plantain. We can have plantain flour. We can have chips. We can have boiled plantain. We can have roasted plantain. You understand? That's value addition. And several other agricultural products like that. Soya beans, cowpea, cocoa. It's from cocoa that we have almost all our beverages.
Yes.
So the countries of this world, the Liver Brothers, the many of these multinational companies, they buy cheap from the farmers and process it into beverages and charge us heavily to come and buy at a very high price. So the most important statement to make on this, judicious use of the
law. Yes, we started with politics, economy. Now we are moving to diplomacy. It's actually a developing story. Moving over to THISDAY newspaper. And this day we are taking the white boss. It says UK, that is United Kingdom, bows to diplomacy, scraps controversial red list. UK bows to diplomacy, scraps controversial red list to enforce pre-departure test other safety measures. That is a good one there.
Very good one for the elite.
So what for the elite?
For the elite. Me, whether they are on green list or red list, I'm not affected. I don't have money to travel out. So it's the elite that are making a heavy weather of the travel ban. And you don't blame UK. They decide to err on the side of caution. It's about public health and public safety. So now they understood the Omicron virus, that it could be milder even than Delta variant, even if it has high level of infections. But people are not really coming down. They are not dying as a result of Omicron. You know, even yesterday, news, was it yesterday or 2 days ago, news came out that the Cyril Ramaphosa, the president of South
South Africa
Africa,
tested
has
positive.
also tested positive. Many footballers in UK have tested positive to COVID-19. And Winifred, we are gradually moving to era of living with COVID-19.
Yes.
We will soon be
That's
seeing
become the norm.
COVID-19 like malaria and typhoid, that you just go, it's just the contagious nature. Do you get it? Like flu now. If I have flu and I come here and I don't cover my nose, if I start sneezing, somebody else can catch the flu, isn't it?
Yes.
That's the way it happened. In 1920, the Spanish flu, which is over 100 years ago, that was how it happened. And now we are living, in fact, many people are already talking of post-COVID world, because it has come that how many countries that usually shut down, they are no longer shutting down. What they have tried to do now is, like in Nigeria, if you don't have jab card, you will not access some public spaces. And even my old mother went for what is it called? She went for checkup last week, and after the checkup, she was fascinated against her. Anyway, she has no choice. They were able to cajole her to take the jab. So after taking the jab, she has already taken the jab before calling me to say, did I have taken the jab? I said, that's good for you, mommy. She said, why, what do I mean? I said, all the time you are asking me not to take the jab. I've already taken the jab way back in March, and nothing do me. Me, I'm talking. He said, yeah, that's good, though. So, you know, only that a day or two after, she said that she was having itches at the point. I said, that will go. Because it has different reactions on different individuals.
Even when you take injection,
even if you take chloroquine injection, it can react. And for me, when I took it, the two jabs, both the first and when I was fully, I didn't even have to use paracetamol. I didn't feel any weakness. Maybe because I'm younger, but what I'm saying is that we need to become health evangelists, you and I, to let people know that this COVID-19 vaccine is safe and people should get vaccinated. Because even people now in many places of work on Monday, when some workers reported to work, like in EFCC, they told them back if you have not been fully vaccinated. They asked them to go back home initially, but later they now start vaccinating them. So if you come, you have not been vaccinated, just point to, go there, go and get vaccinated before you can access your office. Because it's actually about public health issues, safety, public health safety. You cannot just use your own to get other people into trouble. You know, some people have underlying sickness.
Yes.
And if they come in contact with you, like somebody who has asthma, somebody who has breathing difficulty, if he contacts COVID-19, that person can come down with hospitalization because of underlying sickness. But if you are healthy and you take the vaccine, at least I took AstraZeneca, Oxford AstraZeneca, and it didn't do. And people took J&J, that's Johnson and Johnson, Moderna. I mean, I've not had even if there are reactions, the number of reactions people came back to complain of reactions are very infinitesimal, and it has to do with age. You understand, and underlying ailment. But what the good news is that the elites like you, who may want to travel for Christmas, summer holiday in UK, people like you whose husband are very rich, deep pocket, please, when you go shopping in UK, remember, even if it's a pair of shoes, you can buy them. My size is
the watchdog of the society. just
but you know, they are the ones that made every weather of this whole thing.
Yes, they do.
Because they know they are the ones that have bought tickets, they have made plans either to come home or to go meet their loved ones in UK.
Yes.
So that's why they made every weather. But the UK now has come to realize, look, it's useless because over 50 countries have recorded this Omicron, and now they discover that the effect is not as fatal as they thought had been issued. But the lesson must not be lost, even though we are out of the red list. The lesson is that let's take ourselves serious. The rest of the world cannot be fighting pandemic, and we will be doing something contrary. I still know of bishops and the clerics who are telling their worshippers in their churches not to take vaccine. It's not right. You as a shepherd maybe your faith level may carry you, and you may say, I don't want to take. But don't then convince others not to take. That's what I have problem with. Allow individuals to make their own decision, and that's what the UK and Canada looked at, because we are not being truthful. Last week when I was on this program, we talked about some people paying for jab card.
Yes.
They just pay 10,000 naira and they get stamped. Meanwhile, they didn't take the jab. They didn't take the jab. Even for yellow fever vaccine, when the few occasions where I've been privileged to travel out of Nigeria, you are always asked to go and get yellow fever vaccine. If you fail to go,
give them money,
but some people, that's what they do in the Ministry of Health. That they will just pay. They say, "Don't give me the injection. I don't need it."
I remember one time like that when I was traveling, I even asked, I demanded that they should give me, and the head official sounded outraged.
Yeah.
They even say
when I said they are an elite, you said they are not.
No,
when you travel, they do travel to anybody. Anyway, we thank God for His mercy. The most important thing is that let's do the right thing. It's about public health and public safety, and Nigerian government needs to do this with a lot more of advocacy, public sensitization. Let people say the cost benefit, because you may be a strong person. What about your children? I've seen. Look at the family of High Chief Aleo Raymond. 8 members of his family came down with COVID-19. Even the chairman that we are celebrating yesterday allegedly died of COVID-19 infection. I mean, Saminda Isaiah. We have the chief of staff to the president, Abba Kyari, died of COVID-19. Abiola Ajimobi, the former governor of Oyo State, died of COVID-19. People are still having doubts about their existence. You have a state governor saying that he doesn't believe in COVID-19. A whole state governor. And that's what the UK and the Canadas of this world will read and say, these people are not serious. They don't know what is going on.
Thank you so much. We want to be, viewers, we want to go on a break now. When we come back, we'll be taking the last paper on our menu today, and we are going to analyze on security issue. And don't go away, just keep it with us, and just hold on. We'll be back in a minute.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Inside Nigeria, keeping you informed on what matters.
Welcome back. You're still on to Inside Nigeria, reaching you on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Bebo, and I've had with me in the studio to review the papers, public affairs analyst, TV host, syndicated columnist, Mr. Jide Ojo. Mr. Jide Ojo.
Thanks for the image laundry.
Yeah, you deserve it all. Okay, we are moving over to our last paper on our menu today, talking about security issue. And that is the nation. The nation says lawmakers' targets of attacks during Yuletide, says Department of State Service, DSS. Lawmakers' targets of attacks during Yuletide, says DSS. National Security Advisor names 3 terror sponsors. Buhari governors discuss insecurity. 30 travelers abducted. That is on the Nation newspaper.
My sister is very outtrending the state of insecurity, which is what I also wrote about in my column in the Punch today, as me offering my own 2-penny solution to the problem. Because the Punch newspaper of yesterday actually reported from the security tracker, a US think tank, that within the last 11 months, Nigeria, over 3,000 Nigerians have been killed by bandits and over 2,000 abducted. And Kaduna State alone has recorded 888 deaths and over 2,000 abductions. We have every day now, even in Southeast, traditional institutions are not spared. They are now going into their palaces and picking them like snails and dealing with them. Some have been killed, some have been asked to pay very huge ransom. So DSS is telling us to be very mindful of how we celebrate and where we go. And that's why this removal of red alert will gladden the heart of lawmakers, because at least they can escape to UK and US and Canada and do some 2-3 weeks and come back when Nigeria is more stable. But you and I, that have no strong financial base, have to continue to pray and watch. And I know God in His infinite mercy will continue to keep us safe. Because whether we like it or not, we have no other country apart from this one. The last time I tracked, there have been over 100 mass shootings in US. And the last time, that was like 4 months ago, over 100 mass shootings. And those people are not in Nigeria. Terrorism manifests in different ways. Look at what happened in Afghanistan. So what we say is, may God shield us from this. But my take is that there are 2 ways to resolve this issue. We have the hardware approach and we have the software approach. And what I mean by hardware approach is military onslaughts, military operations. We are told that there is military operations in 32 out of 36 states in Nigeria. Operation Crocodile Dance, Operation Python, Operation Crocodile Smile, Operation Python Dance, Operation Golden Dawn, Operation this, that. The most important is people want to be safe. People want to be secured. And that's where I said security and welfare of citizens is the primary purpose of government. According to Section 14, subsection 2B of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So we need to take more holistic look at the hardware and the software approach. For instance, in the hardware approach, we have procured 12 Super Tucano over the last 3-4 years to aid the air surveillance and bombardment of these bandits. But these people are usually not in one settlement. They intersperse with the innocent community members. So when you do an area bombing, you are actually going to be killing a lot of innocent people while you are trying to target these criminal elements. And I also said we need to infuse the use of technology in the fight against insecurity. Take, for instance, Winifred. None of our correctional centers have CCTV. When there was a jailbreak in Oyota, Governor Seyi Makinde had to quickly procure CCTV. I wanted to go and mount it. The Minister of Interior, Ogbeni Ralph Ayoregbesola, rejected and said no, that it should not politicize. What is politicization? Shouldn't we know that we need technology to fight this incessant jailbreaks? Now, you spend quality time tracking and apprehending criminals. You charge them to court. The court system is very slow.
Very, very.
Now, these people are awaiting trial, some for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. And when they have opportunity to escape, if there is any jailbreak, they take the opportunity. And what you see happening is the spike in the number of criminal incidents in that environment. And that is very worrisome for us. Our highways by now should have been wired with CCTV camera to help. When there was a boasting, there was a marathon held in somewhere in UK some years ago, and there was a terrorist attack. It was the CCTV that assisted the Metropolitan Police to be able to track the perpetrator.
Even now, it's the CCTV that mostly help in tackling crime.
But we don't have CCTV in many places in Nigeria, particularly public. The only place where you see CCTV now is private homes and offices and banks. But in many other public buildings, whether you go to ministries, departments, and agencies, the only place you also see CCTV is the one in the office of the chief executive. So you can see guests waiting for him and all of that. But we are talking of CCTV that covers the entire environment. So that if a stranger comes in, if there is a break-in, burglary, you can easily identify how it happened. Now, we don't have that. What about all-weather drones? Do we have all-weather drones? We have drones that are unmanned, that can attack criminal hideouts without you carrying gun. But these are the kind of things we should invest in. I also pointed in the direction of, do we even have forensic laboratories? When you go, maybe there is a terrorist attack somewhere, and you go, you comb the place, you gather ballistic remnants and all of that. Where do you take them to analyze, to know what kind of gun do they use? Is it AK-49, AK-47, laying gun, machete, club, or whatever? What of fingerprint analysis? When you carry fingerprints of people, where do you go? So these are areas we need to invest. Forensic laboratories.
Play that in the NSAS protest.
Exactly. So yes, they doctored it. The one by Lagos concessionaire was they allegedly there's no forensic analyst. So these are things we need to invest in. Apart from the fact that half of Nigerian policemen are on guard duty with VVIPs like you. You request for 4 to carry. One will carry your bag, one will be your driver, one will it's ridiculous. There was something I had which was very shocking to me. When Moshood Jimoh was the first PPRO, and in 2017, when the last Anambra governorship election took place, so they will do the CSO, the chief security officer of Willie Obiano then, and he shouted that they want to expose him to attack, that they have made him vulnerable. Moshood Jimoh, then the first PPRO, said they should not mind Willie Obiano, that a governor has as many as 200 security operatives providing protection for them and their family. So for a governor, one head, maybe a family of 5, 6, you have 200 DSS, civil defense, police, military, and other intelligence services providing protection for one person. Now we have 36. We don't know how many is providing protection for Mr. President, Vice President, the President of the Senate, the Speaker of House of Representatives. So when you and we have barely 400,000 or less of policemen. So you now have a scenario where just about 200 to 250,000 are on police duty in many police stations, and that's why I was on a radio program, and the presenter put a call through to a journalist in Sanfara, and the man said in his community, which is according to 2006 population estimate, is about 50,000 people living in that community. There's no police post, let alone police station. To a population of 50,000, no police post, let alone police station. So what do you do in the event of an attack? How do you protect yourself? Do you have to walk through the forest to go to the next town to get? So we need to recruit more boots. More
I went to about 2 days ago, one day ago, a community in one of the states that some communities are being levied by bandits.
Of course, that has been on.
Communities are paying.
Oh,
they
that was
asked
not
them, what
business,
about
now.
police? He said, no, police are not doing anything.
No,
And the police are the ones that are even encouraging them to pay the bandits.
No, that is not even news. When I wrote in my column, yes, when I wrote about food insecurity some 4 or 5 months ago, I actually researched into that. I found that in Katsina and Sanfara, there are a lot of
even the
communities.
Commissioner admitted it that yes,
There are a lot of communities, villages that are levied by bandits.
Yes,
they call it access fee. To be able to access your farm, you pay. If you now want to harvest, you also pay harvest fee. And that's why price of commodities are very high. Look at onions, tomatoes, and all of that. That used to be very cheap. But when they total what they have put in cultivating those crops, they have to charge, and that's excluding transportation.
There are allegations that the security is complicit with security challenges.
There is a nexus between corruption and insecurity. Was it not last Wednesday when I was there? We were talking of a house in front along the Archie road.
Yes.
That this is a police checkpoint.
Yes.
This is a compound where abducted a so-called madman is living. But when the people of the community went and ransacked the place, they discovered expended bullets all over. And so how come the police checkpoint is right in front of the place, and they never discovered that is where those criminals are, hiding the suspects while they negotiate ransom. So there is complicity. And they get their cut. In many instances, they do get their cut from those. And it has also been reported sometimes in the past that they sell arms and ammunition, or they hire, they rent arms and some of them actually transmute from policemen during the day to kidnappers during the night. Because all it takes is just put off your uniform and wear mufti, and then you can do and undo on the highway. So we need to weed out the bad eggs within the security community, but it will take a lot of willpower.
But the situation about the insecurity state of it is not reducing. In many cases, it will increase.
But we are all in peril. We are all in peril. Today, Nigerians are becoming fatalistic. You know what I mean by that?
Yes.
They say, well, I woke up today, I don't know whether I will be alive to see the end of the day.
When you say life has become so short,
very cheap now. When people were accusing the president of not paying condolence visits to victims of terrorism, the Minister of Police Affairs came out and defended. He said, how many places will the president go now? Because this thing happens on a daily basis. So you don't want him to do any other thing than to be going from one state to the other to pay condolence visits. But we don't need this condolence visit. We just want him to fix Nigeria. Like I said, the 2020 Global Terrorism Index has put Nigeria as the third most terrorized country in the world after Afghanistan and Syria. We are the most terrorized country in the world, and we have been holding that position for 3-4 consecutive years. We don't know what 2021 will reveal, but it's just to let you know, we are one of the most terrorized countries globally. And when you look at the Nigerian Mystery Index, and let me quickly touch on the flip side, which is the software approach. software approach, indicators and variables show that the push factor is unemployment and poverty. So if you even buy all the weapons, deploy technology, water must find its level. People must survive. So whichever way they can, they will try to survive. So you find them, even when people have just been shot, they will still go to crime because they will tell you, now one death go keep person. So when they are not dead, what are they doing alive? They are not enjoying anything. So we need to make life livable for Nigerians. We need to do more to fight poverty and unemployment. And we also need to do, wait for it, family planning and child space.
Yeah.
You know why? That is the supply chain.
Yes.
Imagine our majority leader in House of Reps, what's his name, came out and brought 4 wives and 27 children to the National Assembly and said, look, I'm a very powerful man. These are my 4 wives. I have 27 children and still counting. There is a news report in Vanguard of today that said one man, Simeon Odo, who is popularly known as King of Satan, died yesterday in his village in Enugu State. This man, King of Satan, has 59 wives and 300 children and grandchildren.
Wow.
That's the news. 59 wives, where is he keeping them? And 300 children and grandchildren. The man died at the age of 74. He was said to be a native doctor. So just imagine, you give birth to children that you cannot take care of. I've asked myself, now people will say Jide is wicked. Me, I didn't have many children. Come on, full stop. Now, you go and have 5. You have 7. You will not be bothering me to come and help you. That you have not eaten, please come and help me. Someone with 4 children will be asking me to come and help. Why didn't you think it through before you start having those children? This thing, if you want the best for yourself and your family, you must have child spacing and birth control. That is our future. I'm not saying we are overpopulated. In relation to our landmass, we are not overpopulated. But in relation to our purchasing power, yes, we are overpopulated. Because a situation where a malam has 4 wives, 30 children, and is just a poor farmer doing peace and farming, and the bandits have ransacked the village, he cannot even go to the farm. What will happen to those 30 children? They turn to Almajiri, yes. And then when they graduate, they join the bandits. That's it. Is that not what DSS is warning us about? That look, school children, when they are on holiday, some of them will be lured to join cult groups, criminal gangs, street gangs, and all of that. Their parents should watch over their wards and children. The challenge is, let's fix our birth control, our family planning. What that does is a long-term solution. I'm not saying it's in the immediate. I won't ask anybody to go and kill their children to reduce the number or to sell them off as they are doing now. But imagine a situation where you are in one-room apartment, you have 4 or 5 children, including your wife. You don't have privacy. How would those children respect you? And you don't even have enough to feed them 3 times a day. So why would they not steal? And it's from stealing you graduate to burglary, to burglar. From burglar you become bandits. Because yes, they become because they are going to be, when you can't. The Bible itself says
quality of life.
The Bible says, Winifred, that a man that cannot provide for his household is worse than an infidel. You understand? That's what the Bible says. So if you cannot provide for your family, you have denied faith. And how do you provide when there is high job loss? COVID-19 has taken over 20 million jobs in Nigeria, from organized private sector and public sector in Nigeria, where people have had to shut down their business. No more, they do not have the capital, they don't have patronage and all of that. So you need to have foresight about the implication of having more children and more children, raising more children. Don't take your fertility as God's giving. God has blessed me. I can. The number of children I have does not matter. God knows how to feed us.
Feed them, yes.
Why
That's
then do
always
you
VETO.
bother
That's
other
always
people
VETO.
about your problem if God has told you how you will feed them? Then they will start sending you SOS. I've not paid my rent. My children
not
and I
eating
have not
since
eaten
morning.
since yesterday. Then you start bothering the few people around you who have decided to discipline themselves by not having many children. So this is the vicious circle why I'm throwing in the issue of birth control, family planning, and China did it. At some point, China said no Chinese should have more than one child.
Yes.
Then, when they started developing their industrial capacity, they lifted that. They said you can have two. Now they are even paying people to go and have more children because now they are stabilized. They have been able to establish so many industrial complexes. They have diversified the economy. Their population is no longer an issue of concern to them. Nigeria, with a population of 206 million, is the one going to China to go and borrow from Exim Bank of China. So we can also have that kind of interim measure where we advocate no man should have more than two children for the next 10 years. If you have more, you pay tax on them. So when it is made like you feel the pain of having more children, you will curb yourself. So if it's one or two that you can take care of, have those two, give them the best of education, give them good food, provide healthcare services for them, and let them have good quality life. If you go to the slums of Abuja, you weep for this country.
Exactly.
People are picking food they are scavenging food from the refuse dumps. And you empathize with them, you wish you can help, but my own day, my body now. Like I used to tell people, everybody will send you SOS. Chairman, cut so for me, cut so for me. If I cut so for everybody, which one will I use to beat?
It's true.
Which one will I use to beat? And this one say, chamo, cut so for me, your boy dey here. Do you even realize whether I have the money or the resources? But when they see you on media like this, they feel,
Yes.
Tell them whether you have ever given me whether white or brown envelope. But what they believe is, not be you will see for this so TV or this, and now you are Buhari they eat now. I never even know the way to Asoro. I've never been to Asoro. So the point is, let's have birth control measures. Let's have family planning. Let's have the number of children we know we can easily, adequately take care of. And that's along with some poverty and unemployment reduction strategies, like this social investment program, trader money. Then I also talked
they are
about.
good. They're just at the end of the day, you saw most of these monies are always looted and
yes now look at it, they want to remove fuel subsidy and then they will now pay 40 million people
more than the subsidy they are even paying.
You said there is a lockdown, you are feeding school children when there is a lockdown.
There's so much to talk about.
Not be me talk am sha.
So much to talk about, and you bet Mr. Jide, if you even impose that children this birth control, is going to tear and divide the country apart.
I know, but we need to
religion has really been a setback to
us. That's why I've advocated for advocacy to religious leaders, because some of these things we call religion are cultural norms. They are not actually religious. They are cultural norms and misgivings and misinformation.
Yes.
There is a proverb in my part of the world that God that created mouth vertically has no word to put in that mouth. But it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. We need to readdress some of these proverbs and cultural norms.
Thank you so much. We are now out of time, and this is where we want to end today's Inside Nigeria on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Ubebo, and I've had with me all this while, almost 1 hour in the studio now, Mr. Jide Ojo. Mr. Gideon. Once again, I say thank you so
Mama
much
Edo,
for always being there whenever we call upon you.
it's a
And
pleasure.
viewers, it's been a wonderful day with you and today's program. Don't forget, tomorrow is another day. Do tune in. Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.